We have some breaking news in the NHL regarding some waiver wire activity regarding the Toronto Maple Leafs. Plus, the Leafs are also expected to get some reinforcements back for their game tonight against the Blue Jackets. Can they get their season back on the rails? We'll discuss the waivers and lineup changes coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some breaking news from the NHL waiver wire. For starters, we have Juuso Parssinen from the New York Rangers that was on waivers yesterday. He actually cleared waivers, was not picked up. I thought there might be a chance he's picked up, a decent-sized centerman with good skating ability, a little bit of offense, but he has, in fact, cleared waivers. So he's been reassigned to the Rangers American Hockey League affiliate. But new on waivers today, we have Toronto Maple Leafs forward Sammy Blais. Now, this was a necessary move to create some roster space because obviously the Maple Leafs are finally getting back some reinforcements for their game tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Toronto Maple Leafs are expected to have captain Austin Matthews, as well as winger Matthew Knies and centerman Nick Waugh, all return to the lineup tonight. So obviously that creates a bit of an issue when you need to create some space. So Blais, being lower man on the totem pole here, ends up going on waivers to create the spot. He had appeared in 8 games for the Leafs during his call-up and had 3 games. I mean, obviously they picked him up on waivers here from the Montreal Canadiens earlier in the season. And like I said, he got into 8 games. I think he did okay when he was in there for the most part. Wasn't an absolute game changer or anything, but I think his play was fine. This is probably more than anything just about creating space. This is more about the other players on the team than it is more so about him. But obviously being on waivers creates an opportunity for another team to pick him up and keep him in the NHL. Like I said, he was originally signed by Montreal. Now they've since signed Alex Texier here just in the past couple of days. I don't know if there would be any interest or would it make sense for them to try to consider reclaiming him. But he obviously has a decent amount of experience, has history with Craig Berube as well, which is why we weren't surprised to see the Maple Leafs put in a claim. I think at some point, though, if he does clear, that he'll likely get another opportunity to be called up and play in the bottom 6 for the Leafs again. But for right now, the Maple Leafs are more concerned with getting some wins and getting their season back on the rails here after a pretty underwhelming, you could say, start to the season. They've been either at or near the bottom of the Atlantic and Eastern Conference here. So clearly getting some points and getting some wins is at the utmost urgency right now. Getting back some reinforcements will be helpful. They're still going to be without some other guys, of course, including goaltender Anthony Stolarz, but at least getting some other guys back will be very much helpful. At least it should be, in theory. Now, coming out of the lineup tonight also are a couple of key offseason acquisitions, including Dakota Joshua and Matthias Macceli, who are both going to be healthy scratches tonight. So obviously that's not good. Those 2 experiments have not worked out the way they were hoping for. I mean, in all honesty, I think Joshua I'm not sure what the fan base expected. I don't think the team expected him to come in and be a middle 6, 25, 30 goal guy. I think they were hoping for, a physical bottom 6 winger who might be able to score maybe 15 goals. I think that's probably what they had in mind when they acquired him from the Canucks. But obviously things haven't quite gone to plan. And then with Macceli, obviously they were looking to replace some. I mean, they're not, ignorant to the fact that he's not Mitch Marner. I think everybody knows that, but obviously losing Mitch in the top 6 and that playmaking ability, one of the best playmaking wingers in the game, and obviously played a big role in that top 6 in the top line, played a lot with Austin Matthews. They needed to find somebody who could distribute and get the puck to Austin, and Macceli had a history, especially during the season prior to going to Utah and Arizona, being a good playmaking winger. And, again, a little bit of underwhelming results. Hasn't really worked out. So it's going to be curious to see what this team looks like tonight with a couple of their, like I said, key offseason acquisitions out of the lineup. Sammy Blais on waivers, Matthews and Knies coming back in. Nick Robertson, of course, who was the focal point of a lot of trade talk in the offseason and the early part of the season, has been one of the, I guess, steadier players in a sense, and well, I don't think they can really afford to move him at this point, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think there's been a lot of chatter around the Leafs what they're going to do, and this activity is going to get things going again. A big game against Columbus tonight if they can get a win and get themselves going. I think their schedule for the next little while actually doesn't look too bad. If they can get on a run here, maybe they can get things straightened out and get back in the playoff picture. We'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts on this Leaf news, and we'll discuss the other league news around the NHL and another video coming a little bit later recapping the rest of the league's news and rumors. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.